The one thing my age did bring is all the signs of red flags. I am turning 30 this year, and when I say that I probably am really good with red flags, I can notice it before it starts actually happening. Don't get me wrong, I'm human, and there are some people that are master manipulators, and then you'll kind of be like stuck in that point where you're like, oh my God, I didn't even see that red flag because you're so good. That will happen. But if you really study these red flags and you really know what they are, you will escape a narcissist, a manipulator, and all those abusers out there. So ladies, let's talk. Have you ever been in a relationship where you could just feel that something was off, but you just couldn't quite put your finger on it? One day he's all over you, telling you how amazing you are. The next, he is doing the complete opposite. He's distant. He's making you wonder, like, did I do something wrong? Or maybe he makes you feel crazy for just expressing your feelings. If this sounds familiar, I need you to hear this. You are not crazy. And you are not overreacting. You're simply just seeing the red flags. And today I'm breaking down all of those toxic behaviors that you need to run from before they break you. If he's doing any of these, he is not your future. He is your lesson. Let's get into this. Red flag number 1, hot and cold. Nothing is more emotionally exhausting than a man that keeps you guessing. One day he's calling you, texting you good morning, and he's making plans. And the next, he's distant. He's taking forever to reply. He's just not fully there anymore. Or suddenly he says he just needs space. This is not normal. This is manipulation. He's keeping you on edge, making you crave his attention. So then when he finally gives it to you, it feels like a reward. That's not love, sis. That's a game. And we don't play games with the person we love. I have examples for each red flag. An example could be as simple as you text him and he takes hours to respond. But the second you pull away, he's back, acting like nothing ever happened. And this is because he wants control of when and how you get his affection. And at the end of each red flag, I'm going to hit you with a reality check. A man who truly loves you will consistently show you that he loves you. He will be consistent. If he makes you question where you stand, you already have your answer. I've been making coffee at home, you guys. If you want the recipe, comment below because I swear to God, this is the best coffee I've ever had. My little press-on fell off, so please ignore that. Red flag number 2, he downplays your feelings. If every time you bring up an issue, he calls you dramatic or sensitive, you are not in a relationship. You are in a gaslighting nightmare. And that is the worst type of nightmare to be stuck in. A real man, he will want to understand your feelings. He will never want to dismiss you. And an example of this could be anything, but the one example that just jumps into my head when I think about is you express your feelings and they tell you that you're being too extra or that you're making a big deal out of this. Girl, if he is making you feel like that or saying things like that, you better run. Because life will knock us down. And when we're knocked down, if our man is telling us we're making too big of a deal over that, how is he ever going to be there for us? He's not. And here's your reality check for this red flag. Love is not about invalidating. It's about listening. It's not about someone invalidating how you feel, your emotions. It's about actually accepting how you feel and actually being like, hey, that makes sense. They should be validating your emotions. If he can't handle mature conversations about your emotions, he is emotionally unavailable. Red flag number 3, he keeps you a secret. This one gives me the ick. I can never be with a man that keeps me a secret. Do I look like someone's secret? Do I look like I should be somebody's secret? No, exactly. And neither should you. You've been seeing him for months and somehow you haven't met his friends or his family yet. Or really anyone in his life. That's a bit strange. He avoids posting you on social media. He's always making up excuses. And he always acts like he's hiding something. And that's because, sis, he is. He's hiding something. For an example, you bring up meeting his friends. You're always asking him. You're kind of like, hey, I want to meet your friends. Like, that is the least you could do in a relationship is meet your boyfriend's friends. And he says things like, oh, I kind of want to keep my personal life private. But let's be real. If he wanted to, he would have. The only thing he's keeping private is you. Because he doesn't want people to know about you. Are you guys together? And the reality check that we're all waiting for. If a man is so serious about you, he will have no problem integrating him into your life. You are being kept in the shadows. It's because you are not his priority. Red flag number 4. He's controlling but disguises it as love. At first, it kind of feels sweet. He wants to know where you are, who you're with, what you're wearing. He says things like, I just worry about you. Or, I don't want other guys looking at you. You're all mine. But over time, it turns into control. He gets angry when you don't text back fast enough. He doesn't like it when you go out without him. Suddenly, you're afraid to do things that used to be normal for you. This is not love. This is possession. There's a healthy possession and this is the unhealthy possession. An example could be you tell him that you're going to go out with your friends and he says things like, why do you even need to go out? You should be spending time with me. And if you push back, he gets super angry and starts a fight or makes you feel guilty, which is even worse. And I already know that guilt feeling is the worst feeling because you're just like, you go out, but you're not even having a good time because the back of your head, you're like, oh my God, my partner is mad at me for being out right now. You feel like you're doing something wrong when you're not. And of course, the reality check, a secure man will not control you. And what you need is a secure man. And you don't know one until you actually start dating one or meeting one. But when you're stuck in relationships with people with all these red flags, you don't even realize that there could be secure people. You think it's normal to be like this. I got scared. I always film in a parking lot and then I get scared because I've been seeing all these like scary ass shit on the internet and I'm like, okay, we're okay. Like my heart actually sank. But a secure man will trust you. And if you trust to micromanage your life, he is not your protector. He is your captor. Sorry guys, the sun is setting and I had to quickly move my car because it just wasn't looking good. So lock our cars, guys. Remember, every time you get in the car, you lock your car. Red flag number 5. He is rude to other people. Oh, that's just so sad. Like, he is so sweet to you, but then he's rude to the waitresses. He's rude to people around him. If a man is only kind to you, but dismissive with strangers, rude to waitresses, disrespectful with his mom, that is who he is truly. And one day he will be treating you like that as well. An example, you're out for dinner with this guy and he just snaps at the waitress for no reason or for a really tiny thing and you're just looking at him like, it's embarrassing. Or when he speaks down to customer service workers because he thinks that they're beneath him. Sis, he's beneath you. Dump him. Reality check I'm going to give you is that a real man is kind to everyone. Not just when he wants something from you, but he's always kind to everyone consistently. Red flag number 6. He never apologizes. He never says sorry. Does he ever say I was wrong? Or does he always flip the script and make it seem like you were always the problem? If he never takes accountability, you will spend your entire relationship always apologizing for things that aren't even your fault. Or just like arguing and trying to make him explain that, hey, you did this wrong. And he will never get it because he doesn't want to get it. He's so stuck on never being wrong. An example could be you bring up an issue and you tell him that you did this to hurt me. And he says, well, you made me act that way. Your reaction is your responsibility. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I have my reactions when people do me wrong. And I'm just like, oh my God, like if they hadn't done that, I wouldn't have done it. But then I always self-reflect and check myself because at the end of the day, that is my responsibility. It is my reaction. No one should get into my heart or my brain or into my emotions in that way where I am acting out of character. So no, he made that choice to react that way. And a reality check, a real man will always own up to his mistakes because he's constantly growing and he knows that whenever he makes mistakes, it's just another thing for him to learn. And he learns that lesson and he becomes an even better man. If he's never wrong, your relationship will never grow. You and your partner both have to be wrong at times, and that's okay. Red flag number 7, he makes you feel like you're hard to love. And there's nothing more sad or anything that makes me feel worse than this, that you're too hard to love. If you constantly feel like you're not enough or you have to shrink yourself to just keep the peace, or loving him feels like a full-time job, you are in a toxic relationship. A healthy relationship feels secure. It's consistent. If love makes you feel anxious, it's not love. It's emotional damage. Feeling like you're not good enough, it actually affects your well-being so much more than you can ever think. You start thinking that you're not good enough because you're allowing yourself to be with a man that thinks that you're not good enough and that you're hard to love. For an example, he's been really distant lately and you bring it up and you're like, hey babe, like I just feel like you've been really distant and I think I need a little bit more affection from you. And he makes you feel like you're the problem for wanting more affection. Not necessarily more, just a normal amount of affection that he's not giving you already. No, you are not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person. And here's our last reality check of the video. The right man will never make you question your worth. If you constantly feel drained, it's not love. It's survival. Listen to me. A good man will never let you beg for his attention, his love, his care, or his respect. He will always show up for you consistently. Key word of this video is consistently. We need a man who is consistent with his actions, his words, everything. He will make you feel secure and not confused. You should not be confused at all. You should never be questioning anything. You should never feel like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do if this happens? No, you should always feel like you're in a secure spot. Arguments will happen, fights will happen, but you should never feel like you're on a rocky area where you don't know where things are gonna go. One thing I've learned from personal experience is a man loves to provide and he loves to be the caretaker. And personally, I think that a man is supposed to be helping you take care of your outer world while you help him take care of his inner world. Men and women are so different, but they complement each other in such beautiful ways because the traits and the way they come, it's just so beautiful when they put it together. Your inside and outside world is taken care of when a man and a woman shows up together. But just the way a female operates and the way a man operates, it is so beautiful when they come together. We have these unique traits that make us click. If you saw yourself in any of these red flags, please don't ignore them. Red flags never disappear. They always get worse. Over time, they will always get worse. Protect your heart and walk away before you waste years on a man who's gonna break your heart anyway. Comment below and tell me what the biggest red flag that you have ever been through or just heard of, anything. And I would love to reply back my little insight on it. Like and subscribe for more self-love and relationship advice.